The person that rolled up on him and got punched in the stomach, you got what you should have gotten, dude. Not necessarily because it's okay to punch fans, because it's not. It's not okay to punch fans. If I was giving advice to a person who's not Sean Strickland, I'd be like, kind of got to learn to roll with the punches a little bit, man. He's just an Israel Adesanya fan who is clearly not very smart. But if it's Sean Strickland, he's more like an amoeba. You don't reason with an amoeba. Put some stimulus in front of the amoeba, it's going to react the way that it reacts. Hey, man, you're going to get fucked up. He's going to punch you. That's on you. And we're back, son. Back from Labor Day with big stories. I got videos coming today, son. Big stories. And we're going to start with one related to the fight that's coming up this weekend. You guys may have heard Sean Strickland's fighting Israel Adesanya in Australia or New Zealand or whatever. And there are fireworks going on down there already, as expected. As expected. Because Sean Strickland is fighting against Israel Adesanya in his home country, hometown. Basically the most popular fighter in the history of that country is Israel Adesanya, and Sean Strickland is the biggest troll in the history of UFC. And so, as certain key indicators like polls saying, are you more excited for the fight or the press conference, are leaning towards the press conference, okay? I saw that poll. People actually said they're more excited for the press conference than the fight. I thought about that, and I was like, I would say no, not correct for me. But definitely the most excited I've ever been for a press conference that did not include Conor McGregor, for sure. 100%. So, but with things like that, you got to expect some fireworks. And in this case, Sean Strickland beat up one of Israel Adesanya's fans. Beat up one of Israel Adesanya's fans in the street. This is a story we're going to go over. I'm going to show you exactly how I know this. This is a brand new story from, I don't know. I mean, Sean Strickland's own mouth, as usual. And we're going to talk about the enigma that is Sean Strickland. Izzy should definitely want to avenge this. If someone beat up one of my fans, okay? Like if someone seriously, like if someone was like a really serious fan of mine, enough to where they went to one of my adversaries and spoke on my behalf, and the adversary beat them up, okay? Like if this person's more physically imposing than me, I'd be like, all right, so I would be plotting on how I get them back forever, you know? If I can't win in a fight, I'll win another way, you know? Now, Izzy can win in a fight, and so that's good for him, and I would expect him to take this story out on Sean Strickland's face on Saturday, which is exactly what Sean Strickland wants. He wants Israel Adesanya angry, right? So we're going to talk about all of that stuff, and then I'm going to tell you why I do not think that there is any chance that Izzy loses this fight. And I'm going to use a historical reference because there are definitely matchups that looked just like this to us where everyone was like, there's no way, worst matchup ever, yeah, and the underdog won. And I think that there are people who are kind of leaning in that way where they're like, dude, I don't know, man. This is just one of those weird fights where like, I think Strickland's going to do it. I totally understand that sentiment, and I'm going to tell you what's different about this fight versus those, okay? So that's what we're going to do on this video, and I got a lot more videos coming today, baby. I've been building up. I was gone for all of Labor Day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days off. Dude, that is very rare for me. And you would know that if you were a longtime subscriber to my channel. And so to those of you who had not subscribed yet, I would appreciate it if you would go ahead and throw a subscribe on there. And if anybody does not have notifications, you know, the notification bell on, why don't you go ahead and do that? And then you'll know every single time that I upload. So I'm going to have that going. I'm going to put one on my other channel today, Jesse on Fire, After Hours, and I'm doing members only. All of that today. So let's go. All right, so let's jump right into this video. And by the way, Best of MMA, feel free to throw me on your videos sometimes. You know what I mean? I see you quoting all these other guys. Don't try to pretend I'm not relevant in the industry, guy. Okay? You could throw me on one or two. Jeez, I use your stuff all the time. So credit to Best of MMA for this story, and let's watch it.
Sean Strickland is quickly forging connections in Australia. Leading up to his middleweight title showdown against reigning champion Israel Adesanya in the headline bout of UFC 293 this upcoming Saturday in Sydney, Strickland revealed to Fox Sports Australia that he's already had an encounter with one of Adesanya's fervent supporters that didn't end well. According to Strickland's account, a fan approached him in the vicinity of Bondi Junction last Sunday. Initially, Strickland didn't perceive any immediate cause for concern, assuming the fan merely wanted to snap a picture. However, things took a turn when the fan provocatively declared, "Izzy is gonna F you up." In response, Strickland reacted by delivering a punch to the fan's stomach. Sean said this. Boom, right in the guts. I'd only been in Australia a day and already I'd committed an assault. Initially, I thought the guy was coming up for a photo. Because anybody who wants a photo, man, I love the fans. But if you want to come up to me and run your mouth, I'll smack you, like I smack anybody else.
All right, so that's that story. Now let's discuss, okay? So, number one, let me just say this, just right out of the gate. To the person that went up to Sean Strickland and was like, hey, man, hey, Sean. Sean's all, hey, man, how are you? He's all, hey, man. He's, oh, you want a picture? Would you like me to take time out of my day to allow you to take a photograph with me that you can show your kids and everybody else and everyone for the rest of your life? Look at me and Sean Strickland. I want to give you that moment. I want to give that to you. And the guy's all, no, I just wanted to let you know that this fight that means everything to you, you've been building your whole life up to this moment, training as hard as you can every single day forever, and you finally find yourself in a title shot against a UFC champion like Israel Adesanya. I just want to let you know you're going to lose. You're going to get your ass kicked. He's going to fuck you up, pal. Okay, this is your last night on earth. You should enjoy it. Saturday night, you go home in a body bag. Fuck you, Sean Strickland. Fuck you. So if I did that to Sean Strickland, I would expect him to punch me in the stomach also. You know? Like, this is the thing that I don't understand, right? Like, I think people probably thought I was going to be like, oh my God, Sean Strickland attacked the fan. No, not really. Not really at all. Because again, this comes back to that thing that I always talk about. It's like, do you not realize they're not just like, these are real humans. They're real humans, but not just real humans. They are people who have made the choice to make their living by fighting in a cage in front of large groups of people, you know? And specifically, Sean Strickland would probably fall into the category not just of like martial artist, but actual violent lunatic. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's enough footage of Sean Strickland for any person with 5 brain cells to know, like, well, what kind of UFC fighters are there? You're like, you have lifelong martial artists that have dedicated their life to the perfection of techniques and mental strength and fortitude. GSP, Khabib Nurmagomedov. I would even say Conor McGregor prior to blowing up as a as a personality. You know, then you have people who are kind of crazy, you know, but they're also very talented. Also Conor McGregor, but I don't know. Pick and choose, pick and choose. And then you have psychos, like people who are just actually psychopathic. And the only place that they get any solace for their brain is when they're punching people in the face. And so they're like, man, is there a way for me to get paid doing this? It's like, there is, man. If you're athletic, you can actually get paid just knocking people around all day long. And if you were going to guess what a person like that would do, if you walked up to them and you're like, hey, man, your dream's over, you're going to get killed. What do you think they do? Like, if there's a person more likely to punch you in the stomach than that type of person, I don't know who that is. And if there's a person who more squarely falls into that category than Sean Strickland, I don't know who that is. So the person that rolled up on him and got punched in the stomach, you got what you fucking should have gotten, dude. Not necessarily because it's okay to punch fans, because it's not. It's not okay to punch fans. Kind of got to, like if I was giving advice to a person who's not Sean Strickland, I'd be like, kind of got to learn to roll with the punches a little bit, man. He's just an Israel Adesanya fan who is clearly not very smart. But if it's Sean Strickland, he's more like an amoeba, You don't reason with an amoeba. If you put some stimulus in front of the amoeba, it's going to react the way that it reacts. Hey, man, you're going to get fucked up. He's going to punch you. That's on you, okay? That's on you, guy. That's on you. And, again, I will go back to my original statement on this topic and say that if I'm Israel Adesanya, and I find out that my opponent punched one of my fans, a fan so passionate about his love for me, that he would roll up on a psycho like him and let him know that, then I am going to beat the brakes off of Sean Strickland on Saturday night, Or at least, at least be angry enough that I'm like, I'm going to put a little bit extra on these. Here's the thing. I don't think there is any scenario where, you know what, dude? This is not really worth a whole other video. Maybe it is, dude. I have something I really want to say, but I think it actually is a whole other video. But I'll just allude to it here. God, sometimes I do this to myself. Okay, how far? I know we were 10 minutes in. Okay, I'm going to do a much deeper dive on this topic on my second channel shortly after this, okay? But keep this in mind, okay? When it comes to the press conference on Thursday, keep this in mind. Everyone goes into the press conference. It's kind of just a thing that you have to do, right? Now, Conor does it. It's like, oh, we got to get out there and promote the fight, right? We really got to get out there and promote. I'm stepping on such a good video. We got to get out there, man. We got to just promote this thing. And you do what you got to do, right? If you're Khabib, you're going to kick Tony's, belt off the stage or whatever. This is the first press conference where the champion is like, I need to win this press conference. Everyone is expecting me to get dominated in this press conference. This press conference is just like the fight. I'm telling you right now, like Israel Adesanya is going into this press conference. This is not like any other regular press conference. He knows exactly what he's in for. This is the fight of his life in terms of press conferences, and he wants to win. He does not want to go in there and let Sean Strickland punk him around and let the fans all cheer. Oh my God, he just totally punked Israel Adesanya. Woo! Okay, like Izzy wants to win this press conference. And is it likely that he's going to win the press conference? I don't know, man. That's an uphill battle with Sean Strickland because Sean Strickland is a mud monster. There's nothing you can say to him that'll insult him. Well, I mean, seemingly there's nothing that you could say that will insult him. He doesn't care, right? If I really put some thought to it, you could probably insult him. But nonetheless, if Izzy loses the press conference, which he probably will just because of Sean Strickland, he's insane, even though Izzy would probably beat every other person in the presser, that's another reason why Izzy's going to be going into this fight super motivated. I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing. Like if Izzy's like mad. I don't think there's anything good about Izzy being mad. Let's just say that. But anyway, so here's the other part of this, right? So I wanted to talk about why I am so wildly confident that Izzy is going to win this fight. And this is no offense against Sean Strickland, dude. Like, I think Sean Strickland is awesome. He's great for the UFC. I don't know if the UFC would agree with that necessarily in terms of like, do we want him as a champion? As a matter of fact, I know for a fact that they don't want him as a champion. And Israel Adesanya actually had to talk them into allowing him to have this fight because Izzy guaranteed he would win, okay? Guaranteed he would win. The only reason the UFC made this fight is because Izzy guaranteed a victory, okay? That's a fact. This is a confirmed fact. They don't want Strickland as the champion. Now, really quick on that front before I get into how I know Izzy's going to win. I want to go back to this one thing because Chael had a take about this a long time ago. Well, I mean, not necessarily a long time ago. So maybe, I don't know, a year ago, right? When Sean Strickland really burst out on the scene as like a public personality in the UFC for saying all kinds of crazy stuff, a lot of making fun, a lot of stuff that I think is hilarious, making fun of the, like he's a guy that would jump on the, screw Bud Light bandwagon, like, that guy, that guy's a girl. Oh, he's just a girl, huh? Oh, he just decided he's a girl? So that guy, he's just a girl now. Okay, that makes sense. He likes to make fun of that stuff, which I am definitely here for, So Chael said, I can't remember exactly what Strickland said, but he said something very clearly that was like in the category of any of these activists on the LGBT side were going to be like appalled, right? Appalled. And Chael was like, Strickland is playing a dangerous game. If I remember correctly, I think Strickland is playing a dangerous game was the name of that video. And his point, he's like, dude, you're never going to get a title shot if you keep behaving like this. You're not. And it was one of the very first times that Strickland had made a huge splash in the media. And I remember being like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I think normally I am pretty aligned with Chael. And I'm like, I don't know about that, man. Like, he's making a lot of waves. And here's the thing. I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. And here's also a life lesson for everybody listening to this about why I was wrong, okay? Which one of us has worked for ESPN, okay? Chael, right? Chael. And so as much as I'm pretty good at kind of, laying things out from the fan perspective, he has the insight on the other side of the curtain, right? Which is the UFC is beholden to ESPN, which is owned by Disney. And so Disney, if you guys have not been paying attention, falls pretty squarely in the we are not going to tolerate that kind of talk. If there is an organization in the entire world that is more, oh my God, geez Louise, than them, I don't know what it is, right? Now, Chael didn't say that directly because Chael was trying to get back with ESPN, which he successfully did, which is why I'm sure that he keeps those types of comments out of the public if he ever says them at all. You know what I mean? And so when he was telling Strickland, you're playing a dangerous game, you're never going to get a title shot, that's what he's talking about. He's saying like, look, dude, the champion is not the same as being a contender. It's not the same. You are a face of the organization. You are on camera all the time. Ask any champion that's ever been the champion how much more media they have to do, how kind of tedious it is. You got to be the champion, you got to do all this stuff. And like, they will not have a person who's doing that be the champion. That was his point. And that is why I will say now, because Strickland certainly didn't tone it down ever, the only reason they're doing this fight is because they are banking on Izzy beating them. Now, I think the ESPN deal, if I understand correctly, is coming to an end anyway. But whoa. United Airlines halts flights nationwide. Okay, never mind. That's not anything important. So yeah. All right. Now, why do I know that Izzy is going to win this fight? I will answer that question right now. I actually was, where I kind of did this take, I was talking to Chael about this fight this weekend, right? Now, something you'll notice if you kind of look at most MMA commentating or like analyst channels, like basically across the board, both myself and Chael tend to not dive into the like prediction game that much, right? Like you don't see that's not like a big staple of either of our brands in terms of like who's going to win this fight. This is my prediction. Track it and tell me whether or not I was right. And the reason, for me at least, and I think for Chael also, is like that's not why the sport is interesting to us. You know, it's not why it's interesting to me. I like the story. I like to play out. Well, if this guy wins, then this is what happens, and this is this exciting outcome. If this guy wins, this is what happens. This is exciting, and this is why it'll really matter because of this, that, or the other, right? Like that's what's interesting, and so it's kind of, picking a winner and then finding out if you're right is just not that interesting. But he and I were talking about this fight in particular, and here is what I said to him, which I, after saying it, was like, man, that's actually a really good take by me, and I'm going to say it on the channel. So here is what I said. If you look at the historical upsets that would mirror this upset, if Sean Strickland was able to pull it off, you have a very small group to pull from, right? Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena, 1. GSP to Matt Serra, 1. Okay? Those are basically the two. Those are the two that were such enormous championship upsets that it's hard. Or Anderson Silva, Matt Weidman. There's your 3, actually, okay? So those are your 3 to pull from that would be on the same level as Strickland beating Adesanya. And you have a common thread through all of those that does not exist here. Ready? Go. What is it? What was there? What was definitely a massive factor in those 3 upsets that is not a factor at all here? Ready? Go. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments before I answer. Good job. You already did it. You typed super fast. Okay, I'll go through each one. So on I think the Matt Serra and GSP would have been first. Okay, so the Matt Serra and GSP one. GSP has subsequently said, after being retired, that the only fight in his entire career where he came out not terrified. He said he was terrified going into the octagon for every single fight that he was in his entire career, except for one, and that was the Matt Serra 1 fight, and he got knocked out. Okay? Now, what does that translate into? Actually, hang on, sorry. We'll just go through each one, then we'll translate to what it is. Number 2 is Chris Weidman over Anderson Silva. How did that fight end? The first one, Anderson Silva, showboat, and boom, Chris Weidman catches him, knocks him out. Now, I will definitely give Chris Weidman credit that I guarantee you part of their game plan was if he starts doing that stuff, just keep on throwing. So there's certainly credit to be given to Chris Weidman there, but the reason why no one really took that win as like, oh my God, was like Anderson Silva showboated too much and he got caught, right? So that. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena, right? Amanda Nunes looked incredible in that fight for the first minute and a half to 2 minutes. And then Juliana Pena started having success and Amanda Nunes completely gassed out, okay? Now, the Anderson Silva fight, in the second fight, Anderson snapped his leg in half over Chris Weidman's leg, and that's how that ended, but that's not really a very definitive answer to whether or not he would have won in the rematch had that not happened. But in the GSP versus Matt Serra one, GSP destroyed him in the rematch, and in the Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena one, she destroyed her. Amanda Nunes destroyed Pena in the rematch. I was there for that one. So, what is the common thread? The common thread is the champion did not take their opponent seriously. Amanda Nunes was not even training for the Juliana Pena fight. Wasn't even training. Like, everybody had heard that. That was like the rumor going around, and her performance validated that, right? GSP and Matt Serra, GSP said himself, he's like, I wasn't even afraid of him. Did not take him seriously. Anderson Silva is fighting a dude who had no business getting a title shot except that Anderson had cleared out the division completely. And look at what happened. So, is there any chance at all, that Israel Adesanya goes in against Sean Strickland, not taking him seriously, considering him a non-threat, and is just kind of nonchalant, and they're just like, this is just a foregone conclusion that I'm going to beat Sean Strickland? Like those three examples. Not one chance on earth. 0% chance that happens. None. Not one chance in the world. Izzy is going to treat this fight like he treats every fight, which is the world is on the line. This is part of my movie. This guy punked me in the thing. He's going to come out. He's in his hometown. This is a very special fight. For 100% sure, he is going to come out and be very, very respectful of the threat that Sean Strickland presents. And so, now you look at the matchup itself, which is an absolute stylistic nightmare for Sean Strickland. And you consider that Sean Strickland said on the Rogan podcast that his knee is compromised and that's why he doesn't shoot. Now, it is possible he's playing 4D chess there. That is possible. It is possible that he says he never shoots because he has a compromised knee. And if that's the case, kudos to Sean Strickland, because he was setting up the fact that he's going to shoot on someone at some point, which now turned out to be Izzy. And if he wrestles, maybe he has a chance there. But if he stays on the feet and fights the way that he fights in every other fight, Izzy is going to whip his fucking ass. Whip his fucking ass. Okay? Stylistic matchup, nightmare. Absolute sheer nightmare. And so, unless Izzy didn't take him seriously, or, Strickland gets incredibly lucky, which seems damn near impossible, how is Izzy going to lose? So, that's how. So anyway, this was the first video that I've recorded since taking a four-day break. I feel pretty good about it. I know when I'm spitting hot fire, and I was spitting hot fire on this video. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, like this video, tell your friends, love you guys, and on to the next one.